Hello, hello. Welcome to the daily live stream here, the daily political news, tarot, and astrology, where we go over the political news with friends and get as many facts together as are available, and then because most of us are new age news junkies. We then see if there's anything on the collective energy that we can pick up to find out more that isn't currently available. But yeah, that's just what we do. I'm literally here every single day of the year. This year I am here 366 days of the year, and today is the most wonderful Sarah Wednesdays.
Hello.
So Sarah is here, and she's been doing research and just being 87 kinds of awesome as always. So hello everybody. So basically what's going on today is normally I take your questions out of the chat before I come on. So just leave your questions in the chat normally. But today we had some news. And Kristen from Uncover the News was kind enough to let us know about this. Tigers of Forley. Oh my gosh, the overlay. Isn't it? It's fun. It's fun. Subtle. It's very subtle. Yeah. Anyway. So there's this news. Now, we are not the person who uncovered this DOD report, but this is a DOD report. This is not something that we're making up out of whole cloth or even half cloth. This is an official report, and that's where we're pulling our information from. So Valerie Sargent says, this is one jagged little pill. And you ought to know.
Okay. Yeah, well, we're here to remind them of the mess they left when they went away. So it's yeah.
That was good. That was good. All right. Now, I agree, Kelly. This was not on my bingo card either. That was good. Exactly, Teresa Ford. That's a whole different kind of doc case.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say, basically, the from what I understand, the upshot is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Miss Sarah. Basically, from the DOD, just quietly put out a report on the 8th. Just quietly, like, don't mind this. And there is a website who keeps an eye on these things. Who is it?
Ars Technica.
Ars Technica, who keeps an eye on these kinds of reports and things, who said,
hold up.
Hang on. Hold on a minute. Because this this report from the DOD was an investigation of what took place from 2017 to 2019 in the White House. Because it turns out, now it kind of, the pandemic shut things down, but from 2017 to 2019 specifically, they hadn't always, from what I've been told, please correct me if I'm wrong, but there was always, a medical pharmacy. There was always a medical dispensary pharmacy.
It was established in 1945.
No, yes, in the White House. All right. And it would help the president, his family, people who work there, whatnot. Fair. I mean, we know there's a whole medical facility in the White House with like top of the line.
Right.
They can handle anything there. They could do major surgery there. So, but from 2017 to 2019, the I wouldn't even call it a pharmacy at that point. Because basically it became the party table. So Trump and his ilk basically took the White House pharmacy and just had, what do you want?
Right. And
Things were
as of
written
right now,
down.
I just updated it.
Yeah.
You can look in the description box. There are 2 links. One to the Ars Technica website that I initially found everything on, and then to the official DoD report. So there are 2 links if you want to follow along, just so you know that we're not misconstruing anything or reading something wrong or whatnot.
Yeah. So this is a thing.
Yes. So just to be clear, they went back and they looked at everything from 2009. Go ahead. Sorry.
Gretchen's asking, can you spell the name of the website?
ARSTECHNICA.com. ARSTE, T as in Tom, ECH, N as in Nancy, ICA.com. Okay. So,
And CC Ryder saying there's a Yahoo News article on this that summarizes everything.
Oh, nice.
Good.
Nice. Okay. Well, the report from the Department of Defense, it went back, and just to be fair and nonpartisan, it went all the way back to 2009. All right. But they found issues from 2017 to 2019. I wonder why. And everything in the report talks about all the bad crap that happened between 2017 and 2019 because they didn't find anything out of the ordinary in the years before.
I'm shocked.
Right? Having said that, I think that regulation in said pharmacy had always been a little willy-nilly.
Loosey-goosey.
Yes, loosey-goosey. I don't think it has ever since 45 been checked. Now, keep in mind, this doesn't actually just serve people in the White House, but also the Eisenhower executive offices next door, across the street, however. So if you worked in the White House or the Eisenhower building and regularly, and it was supposed to be for only like 60 people, it turns out they were yeeting stuff to over 6,000 people in that period of time. Prescriptions were given without a name. Hey, I need to pick up this for Miss Who. And the pharmacy would just be like, okay, here, and give a baggie or a blank bottle with pills inside of it. So we're going to go over everything.
Yes.
As much as we can, because it's a lot. I'm going to read this first little bit, and then you're going to take off, I'm guessing.
Okay, and CC Ryder has the article from the 16th.
Yes.
From Yahoo News, free surgeries and prescriptions. White House staff got access to military health care despite being ineligible. Yeah, it's not the health. I mean, I'm not happy about the health care. Not happy about that, considering how many people are suffering. And people who don't have any health care. Hi. It's the baggies of controlled substances, literally baggies of controlled substances. That's my issue.
Okay, so to start off with, the White House has its own pharmacy that, until recently, could perhaps be described as a hot mess. According to a recent investigation report from the Department of Defense's Office of the Inspector General. For years, the White House Medical Unit, run by the White House Military Office, provided the scope of pharmaceutical services to senior officials and staff. It stored, inventory, prescribed, dispensed, and disposed of prescription medications, including opioids and sleep medications. However, it was not staffed by a licensed pharmacist or pharmacy support staff, nor was it credentialized by any outside agency. The operations, yes, of this pseudo pharmacy went as well as one might expect, according to the alarming investigation report by the DoD. The investigation was prompted by complaints in May 2018 alleging that an unnamed senior military medical officer, who may or may not be Ronny Johnson, was engaged in improper medical practices. This resulted in the OIG's investigation, which included 70 interviews of military office officials who worked in the White House between 2009 and 2018 and covers the office's activity until early 2020. However, the investigation heavily focused on prescription drug records and care between 2017 and 2019, as we said before. Now, read two more parts, and then I'm going to hush for a second. During that time, staff at the White House pharmacy kept handwritten records of prescriptions. Let's just do that. The records frequently contained errors in medication counts, illegible text, crossed out text, and lacked medical provider and mandatory patient information. The pharmacy let White House staff pick up over-the-counter drugs from open bins in violation of Navy medical regulations. It didn't dispose of controlled substances properly.
Dispose or dispense?
Dispose. So, okay. Staff provided prescriptions without verifying patients' identities and provided prescriptions to people who were ineligible for care. And it dispensed pricey brand name products freely rather than generic equivalents that are considerably cheaper, also a violation of regulations. One of the main drugs doled out was Provigil. Now, it has a lot of different uses, but Provigil is a drug that treats excessive tiredness and is typically used for patients with narcolepsy, sleep apnea, and other sleep disorders. Basically, it is the opposite of a rhino trank when, like you're supposed, for people who have severe and higher doses, if you have severe apnea, or not apnea, but narcolepsy, and you're tired all the time, this will boost you up. Brand name Provigil is 55 times more expensive than the generic equivalent. Between 2017 and 2019, the White House pharmacy spent an estimated $98,000 on Provigil alone. In that same time frame, it also spent an estimated $46,500 for Ambien, prescription sedative. Thank you. Go to sleep, which is 174 times more expensive than the generic equivalent. Even further, the White House medical unit spent an additional $100,000 above generic drug cost. And another White House pharmacy staff member gave clues as to what the staff was doing with those brand name prescriptions. The staffer told OIG investigators that ahead of overseas trips, the staff would prepare packets of controlled medications to be handed out to White House staff. And those would typically be, this is a quote, and those would typically be Ambien or Provigil, and typically both, right? So we would normally make these packets of Ambien and Provigil, and a lot of times it'd be like in 5 tablets in a Ziploc bag. And so traditionally, too, we would hand these out, but a lot of times the senior staff would come by, or their staff representatives would come by the residence clinic to pick it up. And it was very much a, hey, I'm here to pick up this for Miss X. And the expectation was we would just go ahead and pass it out. Like no verification, just, hey, somebody from down the hall. Yeah, baggies, Ziploc bags. Allison, we paid for all this, the taxpayers. Yeah. So, and there was the care for other staff members and stuff, but I'm going to stop real quick on this.
There's some really good stuff in the chat, but I've got to point out Isabel Moss saying, but tell me again about Hunter Biden.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And the powder that they found after the, mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
but there's some people in the chat who've taken said upper,
mm-hmm.
and they're talking about it. It's nothing. It's no joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, SW is saying, but here's the big, huge question. Will the spineless Merrick Garland take any action? This is the quote. Garland is 100% to blame for Jack Smith being up against a wall and Chutkan having to delay the January 6th trial. I have my issues with Garland too, but is this going to become a thing? Because I'm not even concerned about Yes, I want now. Do I think Donald Trump is going to go to prison over that? No. No. He's got too many there aren't enough records. There's too many layers between him and staff. But I want to know, is this going to become a thing?
Mm-hmm.
Because this could be, because this man's running for the presidency again.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a lot of talk for a long time about the possibility of Dumpy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So is this going to be a thing?
Okay.
Is this the end of it? Is it going to fade away? Or is this going to get some traction? Oh, it was a secret. Secret. Oh. Mm. So like a Skeksis. Mm. Hermit. It feels very...
Pay no attention to the ambient behind the corner, behind the curtain. Yes.
Because if it had gotten out... Yeah. You have to remember... let us not forget we have all lived through the Trump era.
Mm-hmm.
How entitled not only Dumpy, but the people around him felt.
Mm-hmm.
He got away with doing whatever he wanted to. So a lot of them were emboldened. That's what led to January 6th. You had a bunch of people on the right who felt emboldened. We can do whatever we want.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to prison. We're not going to face repercussions.
Mm-hmm.
So repercussions aren't going to touch me. Oh, no. I pulled a few cards on this earlier when I first heard about it, because I was just curious. Like, I just pulled 3 cards. This is the same first card I got last time. 8 of Wands.
Yep.
There was a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of it.
No, Kelly, this is at the White House and not the Capitol. She asked if this is what the Jan 6ers were looking for. Sorry.
Oh, no. That would have been a good question, though. But no, this was at the White House. Higher wisdom. I mean, the pill pushers in Hollywood are what brought down Judy Garland, Marilyn Monroe, so many others. And I don't know if Ronny Jackson was involved in this or not. He wasn't named, I don't believe.
No, it said an unnamed medical officer. But keep in mind that there were no prescriptions. So it's not a doctor prescribing all this. It's literally folks at the pharmacy doling it out. Now, the complaint against the doctor, whoever said doctor is, sparked the investigation. But it doesn't name that doctor by name.
Okay. Normally, this is a card of refusal.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, if you look at a regular, and these are in order, because I've been taking Johnny's tarot class, because I always want to learn more. Cups. 4 of Cups. Dude is refusing because he's already full.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's a binge. That's a one more. One wafer in mint.
I had to stop myself from saying the next line because we quote that weekly at our house.
Is this going to become a thing? Wheel of Fortune. Judgment. So this I wonder if this is going to become some kind of talking point on the campaign.
It should. It absolutely should.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look, Trump is not the first person to have taken advantage of this. I'm sure that somewhere, I mean, I know the Kennedy admin probably did because they were all speeded up as well. I mean, and I love the Kennedys, and I'm still saying that. Okay, I don't love the Kennedys, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. But there's
sometimes I think I'm the only person who doesn't love the Kennedys, and that doesn't mean I'm right.
Well, no, I mean,
everybody loves them, and that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm not blind to the fact that, good God, he could be a horrible person. But so there's a lot of different ways we could look at questions on this one. One of the things you and I were talking about is if someone is taking this amount, let me timestamp this, 21. Okay. It has been said, and it has been said for years that Trump, for entertainment purposes only, stopped cocaine in the 90s when Adderall came out. Like he was big on coke, got on Adderall when Adderall came out. For entertainment
and that is we're talking about rumors. Fair enough.
It has been rumored, should I say.
Rumors or rumors.
Okay. So
hang on. Yeah. Bell Book Handle says CBS just reported they've released sealed Mar-a-Lago dock cases, 37 more indictments. Pluto and Aquarius. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, but you were saying. Okay.
Oh, goodness. All right. So we were discussing earlier how someone could have that addiction for this long.
Right. How does they function for this long?
Right. So now, if any of you are not familiar with addiction and whatnot, that is a blessing. If you've never had to witness anybody go through something like this, you are a blessed person. So I'm not knocking you for not having the knowledge, because it's good that you don't. But you could look at Elvis. He took pills to get up. He took pills to go to bed. After a while, it hurt the old ticker. And, well, yeah. So Trump, after a while, would have built a tolerance to this. And let me explain what Adderall does, like you and I were talking about earlier. When my kids were born, back in the day, they couldn't test for ADD or ADHD until a child was like 3, 4, 5, somewhere in there. But if you've got children who are like, and you're wondering because you have a family history of it, my stimulants, the way that they work for somebody who has ADD or ADHD is they calm everything so you can focus, because you can't focus. It's the whole point. So for a child, if you want to know if they possibly have ADD or ADHD, give them a couple of sips of black coffee with no additives, no sugar or anything else in the morning. And if they calm down, then it is more than likely they have some form of ADD or ADHD, because a stimulant squares it up.
If Adderall, you don't,
right, then you're just, I mean, it's right. Yeah. So if someone has ADD or ADHD, a stimulant, Adderall, whatever, calms their brain so they can do what they need to do. If they do not have ADD or ADHD, it is like lighting all of their nerves on fire, and they can't stand still. They're like a preschooler who fidgets.
Yeah. You mean like standing up on stage or at an official, like laying a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, but spending all the time you're supposed to be serious, standing there going, like I did in preschool.
And so what would happen is, after a while, he would have to take more and more Adderall to combat the tolerance. But drugs like this help, because The medical clinics in the other stuff, CC, it also says in the thing that the White House did dispense. Sorry. And if you are taking something that is designed to wake up extreme narcoleptics in a higher dosage, then you could take Adderall when you need an extra bump without messing up your tolerance level. And if you take the Adderall, the fastest way to get in your system is to sniff it, which causes nosebleeds. Just saying. So, could this help me out here? Question-wise, how do you want to?
Well, a couple of things. First, random thoughts that came into my head as you were talking. One, that's also how we lost Pete Steele.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his whole family. I mean, he even wrote a song about basically how people in his family dropped like flies, and a lot of it was, well, first of all, they were all built like Great Danes,
mm-hmm.
who have short lifespans, and then the drugs, it weakened his heart.
Mm-hmm.
In the CC Ryder was kind enough to give some information here in the chat, but I think there's a key thing here, because CC Ryder said, from the report findings section, we concluded that except for the White House Medical Unit, the National Capital Region executive medicine clinics did not procure, store, or dispense controlled substances. Yeah, but the key thing there is we accept for the White House Medical Unit. Yes, that's the key.
Yes.
For CC Ryder or other prescription medication. Rather, they relied on full service military treatment, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, it was the White House. There are any number of questions this brings up. Becca from House of Lenormand is here. Hello, Becca. Says, I always thought he swayed in order to discreetly adjust his yeah. But John Francis, maybe that's what makes his accordion hands work. That's true. So there is, just having a quick look. Pat Life's asking, can a person build up a tolerance to Adderall? Yes. Yeah. So okay. So there are questions like, how often did Junior visit the White House?
Quite a bit. I wonder.
How? I mean, when senior staff would go on trips, they were going down to that pharmacy and getting baggies with 5 pills in each, including controlled substances.
Well, yeah, both the Adderall and the other one is a controlled substance. They both are. Yes, exactly. SW. Bottom line is, in super simple terms, a person with real ADHD, Adderall has the opposite effect on them than it does with someone who does not have it. So if you have ADHD, Adderall is a miracle drug because you can focus, you can exist. If you do not, it is basically like, I mean, meth without all the nastiness. So you're just wired and all over the place.
Yeah, Becca was just saying that they turned the White House into Studio 54. Yeah. Visualize 70's asking, could they get lucky dip bags? Suburban Housewife, I hadn't seen anything about that. Melania talked about the benefits of ketamine during an interview. I'm afraid I don't know anything about that. So the other thing about what we went through during the Trump years, the thing I joke about all the time, the people who follow Trump closely, how they don't just drink the Kool-Aid, they swill the covfefe. Tweeting something like covfefe sounds an awful lot like an Ambien thing.
And this would also explain why he was up 24 hours a day and did not sleep, because he was taking drugs, allegedly, that would, like I said, it's the opposite of a rhino trait. You're squirrel. So,
And doesn't it make you paranoid and like see
yeah.
shadows and stuff?
Well, yeah, like if you're on meth, and if you're, I've never been on meth, but unfortunately, I know people who have battled it, battled the addiction. But if someone is on meth, shadows, and this is a universal thing. This isn't just a 1 or 2 person thing. It's a shadow people are a real thing for meth folks, because their brain is working so far overtime. They see stuff moving in their peripheral, and so shadows move. And the shadow people, and you and I joked earlier, I joked to you, I said, I wonder if that's why Melania got rid of all the rose bushes and everything on the lot, so that way there would be less shadow people.
Yeah, but what about Christmas? Was she messing with him to put the really like the nightmare shadow trees? I mean, did she know that's what it was? So she was trolling him. So I'm gonna ask a bunch of both serious and silly questions here. So I'm gonna start with Melania. Was Melania messing with him when she put up the nightmare Christmas ornaments? CC Ryder, I love that. Without oversight from qualified pharmacy staff, the White House Medical Unit's pharmaceutical management practices may have been subject to prescribing errors and inadequate medical management.
Maybe.
That's awesome. All right, Melania, did you troll him? Look, all I'm getting off these cards is she hates him. And she wanted more money.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember he turned around and he said something to her at the inauguration and her face fell? Her expression fell?
Mm-hmm.
If you watch that carefully, he only says like one word. If you watch his mouth, he only says like one word. Maybe he got in 2, but he didn't say much. And I've always wondered about that. Like what word did he say that made her expression fall like that? So she was already, this was not going into the White House. This was not good. But mostly she just wanted the money, and whatever he was or was not taking, if it affected him, mainly it didn't help her get more out of what she wanted. And now she's just focused on getting the bag.
Good.
Because he's here, he is right in the middle, just a man. This Ace of Cups are medical things, and this is a lot. When I get like an Ace of Pentacles, it can be just like a start of a business or start of something, or it can be like a huge chunk of money, because that great big hand coming out of the sky, he's holding a great big thing. And same thing with the cups here, the cup here. That's a whole lot of medicine. And the miser. So with Melania, this is all about the money. And her did she do it consciously? I think it was passive aggressive, just in general, because Becca does the best Melania impersonation. The best. But then one of the main things that Becca says when she's doing the impression is the quote about who cares about Christmas? Daisy, who cares about Christmas decorations? It was passive aggressive to make something so hideous, modern. I'll make it modern and different, because she was angry. It was passive aggressive.
I mean, if she liked the red, I've seen plenty of people who make tree-like things with poinsettias, and it's red and it doesn't look scary. It just looks
Right.
like,
It doesn't look like the twins from The Shining are about to walk down the. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what's going on there. What does she know about his potential self-medicating potential? Empath says they say, oh, I can't repeat that on my live stream. Empath, but anyway, what does she know about his potential? There's also something I want to point out just in just a second here about the drawer in his office in Trump Tower. So remind me of that in just a second, please.
Okay.
What does Melania know about his potential? Oh boy. All right. Where she was in the first place when she met him, she was not in a good place.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we're exaggerating to say that she was around some bad people.
Yeah.
And the thing about Dumpy is that, one, he can be charming if he wants to be, at least for short periods of time. We know that about narcissists. We know that about sociopaths. They can charm you up front really well.
Love bombing. Yeah.
Love bombing. And she was in such a bad place that he was rich, which made him powerful. He owned buildings, and he was love bombing her. And so if there was some partying going on or what have you, or he was having his own personal parties or what have you, not considering what she was coming from, that could have been a worthy trade-off, a way out and a worthy trade-off. It's always, from according to this, entertainment only, it's always been around him. It's always been a thing. The medical medicine Knight of Cups getting to him, and he always had the money for it. He'd come up with the money out of who knows what. She was hoping to have a happy family. She didn't want to be in politics. This is normally the Democrats, but no, this is just happy. This is a card of a happy family. That's all she wanted. And money.
Yeah.
Money and a happy family. That's what she wanted. And we've got Judgment, the moon, the Knight of Wands. So he was judgmental as heck. Howling at the Moon is in the middle. This is bullying to the extreme, this Knight of Wands. And then the two final cards are You Keep It Secret and disappointment over the stuff in the cups. So what does she know about this? She found out what he's really like. And all the secrets. And she had to keep her secrets because she wants money. That's why she keeps renegotiating her prenup, and she gets more out of it every time.
Yeah,
it's basically it is a form of blackmailing. Good for her.
No, what were you saying about the drawer?
Oh, the drawer. Okay. Years ago, actually, I'm going to pull this up because I don't want anybody saying, "Well, you're making that up." Oh no, no. Drawer in Trump's Trump Tower office. Did Sudafed? Hang on a second, just double checking on. Ba-ba-dee-da. See, I'm over at
CC Ryder got to the part of the report where it says White House medical unit dispensed prescription medications, including controlled substances, to ineligible White House staff. Ding, ding. That is correct.
Okay. I'm going to go straight to is it Snopes?
Snopes. Yeah, Snopes. Snopes. Yeah, Snopes.
Snopes. No, I never know how to pronounce this
It's
thing.
Snopes because it only has one O, I think.
That's what I thought. But okay. And I want to point something out to you that is not included in this account, because we're going straight to the it's false area. All right. Because they're saying it's false. That was in the drawer behind Trump in his office. Some people were saying it's basically a controlled substance or what have you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you all know me by now to know I don't just be like, oh, conspiracy theory. No. And this is fact check. Did Sudafed in Trump's Tower office indicate stimulant abuse? Okay. A viral thread makes a series of factually suspect conclusions based off a blurry photo of 3 boxes of European Sudafed. Okay. It's not letting me see the original picture. Oh, I think it's farther down. All right. So it's talking about what that is.
The Taco Bowl picture. Yeah.
Yeah, the Taco Bell picture. There it is. And this drawer was open, and you see these boxes here of Sudafed.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a number of boxes here. Okay, here's the thing. Back in the day, now granted, I haven't been over there, but back, around the time that this picture was taken, or before this picture was taken, I would go I was married to an Englishman, and I would go over there.
Mm-hmm.
And I had at the time, I had severe fibromyalgia. I was in terrible pain all the time. And so I was really shocked when I went over there and I found out that you can buy medicine over the counter there in limited quantities, but you can buy over the counter medicine there that includes codeine or, some other heavy duty stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they sell the kind that doesn't have anything funky with it, and they sell the kind that does. Okay.
Epinephrine, I think, for this. Yeah.
Could be epinephrine, could be whatever it is. Okay. Mm-hmm. 2 things. 1, he kept going to Scotland.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
2, why wouldn't you buy both and take the pills out of the one box and put them in the other box? The fact that this particular box, because I've looked this up, I remember I went online, went and found the original, this kind, the kind that has a controlled substance. It has a different main color. It's not green on the front of it. But I looked this up, and it was like, so people were saying, oh, no, so that's not bad. Well, why the European stuff? Just convenience, just happened to have the European stuff, because this you could get this here. But no, he just happened to pick some up when he was in Scotland. That was it, and brought it back. I don't believe that for a second. That's my opinion. Catherine Mickelson is saying Sudafed is used to mitigate runny nose from Adderall withdrawal.
Well, also Adderall, like I said, is basically a precursor to meth for addicts. And you use Sudafed, you it's an ingredient to make meth, or at least it was back in the day. So it has a stimulant in it. And granted, you have to have massive quantities of it to get the same thing. But yes, cherry bomb. What we have now is pseudoephedrine and not epinephrine. But like, yeah.
At B. Smith saying, are you thinking Nurofen? It has codeine in it. No, what I, especially back in the 90s, see, I would normally take Advil, ibuprofen. Acetaminophen and I are not friends. Do you need to know that? No. I'm just randomly saying I can't take this stuff. But ibuprofen and I, we're buddies. But the ibuprofen I could get in England, I could go over there and buy a box, and it had codeine in it. And it's like, really? Okay. Luckily, I am one of those blessed people who has not dealt with addiction. I feel very, very lucky for that. Other issues. Everybody's dealing with something, but luckily that was not one of them. So I just wanted to point that out, that because I want to say I did a reading on that too at the time, or when I went and did that. Well, no, it was after that. But I don't believe for a minute that this is innocent. As I always wondered. This was my other thing. I know, David. I know ibuprofen. Ibuprofen with codeine will hurt your liver in no time. Yeah, I didn't take it very often. Lois McDonald thinks I'm addicted to kitties. Yes, I am.
Yeah,
I admit that. Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
Purring. I'll do anything for the purr. I was saying something. What was it?
Looking at the Sudafed or the.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. So anyway, that's there now. I know that Valerie Sargent says you did. I looked at it yesterday. I did. Oh, I did cover it before? Oh, thank you.
Cool.
Okay, so let's jump to, because I'm curious. Junior. There's been a lot of talk about Junior. That's what I was going to say. I always wondered why somebody in the press pool in the White House didn't get one of those little wipes that drugs, because you can get little wipes that turn color, that come into contact with, and because they had those microphones up there. So after Trump talked, why didn't somebody just walk up there and just wipe off the podium, top of the podium, just in their hand, just wipe off as they're fixing? Or because if you saw a photograph when Trump was in office, there were all kinds of pictures that little, like sometimes tiny little things would, as he was talking.
Yeah.
So I always wondered why didn't one of them go up there and just. But Junior, there's all this talk about Junior. I'm not really good at recognizing when people are on drugs. Like I said, I've been extremely lucky in that I myself never been addicted to anything. When I was dependent on a prescription medication, I weaned myself off of it. And you remember that, because we have a friend.
Fun.
That was not fun. And I highly recommend, if you ever have to wean yourself off of any medication, ice cream. During the worst of it, ice cream helps more than anything. But everything hurt. Everything hurt. I couldn't stand, sit, lie down, nothing. It just, everything hurt. But I'm not good at recognizing.
Right.
And so when everybody was looking at Junior and started saying, ding, 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 nose candy, I was like, well, I always just assumed he was a jerk. I don't know the signs, but my gosh, people were very, very convinced. And they're like, yeah, it's obvious. I'm like, okay, I don't know. Hang on. CC Ryder's saying the military medical officer should be court-martialed. Yes, please. Yep. Let's look at that. And course Mrs. Dependence is not addiction. I've been a counselor for 20 years. Bless you for doing that work. Bless you. And I realize dependence isn't addiction. That's why I differentiated. So, but if the White House was a candy store, was an adult candy store, what if Junior was...
Did he go trick-or-treating?
Did he go trick-or-treating? Yes. KR says, I had a couple of bosses who were cokeheads. I didn't know at the time, but now their behavior makes sense. Now I see it pretty obviously. It's kind of look in the eyes that scares dogs, literally. Ooh, I didn't know that. And Catherine Mickelson, cat addicts rule. Yes, we do. Junior. Entertainment only YouTube. Fool. Page of Pentacles. So it's son of money. Emperor. Trump being such a lovely human being and a fantastic role model. This is the card of a whole lot of. And the Magician trying to hold it all together and juggle. However, the card for the reading is the Four of Pentacles. So this is either not having enough money or being a skinflint. And we know that there are certain things that are super expensive, but if there was a candy store.
Well, yeah. For my stimulants, I pay a certain amount a month, but street value is like 20 times that for one pill. So Adderal is by itself expensive. So is Ambien if you're street value. So if there's a window down the hall where you can just walk up and be like, hey, I can't sleep. I was told that by such and such to come and get something for that. And they'll, here you go. It's free. Well, not free. Taxpayers paid for it. We paid for it. So glad we could help with that.
Well, for Junior, card for the reading. That's a lot. That's a lot. And you'll notice they are speeding through the air. You know, 9.8 meters per second squared? Something like that.
Yeah.
I'm randomly going to tell you something funny that my boyfriend in college said. He drove up from Louisiana to see me here in Chicago. And very unlike him, he got a speeding ticket. And I was like, you got a speeding ticket? How fast were you going? He says, well, there was a hill. I'm like, yeah. So I was going 55. He said, yeah, plus 10, plus 9.8 meters per second squared. Flying through the air. We do love smart men. Anyway.
Yes, we do.
Wheel of Fortune, King of Cups, adding insult to injury, medicine. Ups and downs and ups and downs. Because that's the thing. It'll make you start using a lot of anything. And you start doing this up and down until you are a king of whatever this is. And then you become a belligerent jerk. So,
Core says meth is the most popular drug right now. It runs in cycles over the years. And the reason being is because, unlike other drugs, it doesn't have to be imported. It can just be made. Breaking Bad gave us the recipe. So I remember an interview with Miley Cyrus years ago when she was going through her wild phase. And she's like, everybody's coming to me like I'm just ridiculous on stage when you can turn on AMC and learn how to make meth every week. They give you the recipe. But yet I'm the one taking your, driving your kids to whatever. Okay. And she's not wrong. So, yeah. So at 55:39, will the military officers be court-martialed?
I remember there was a point, not naming any names, there was a point in your life somewhere, while I knew you over the last more than a decade, where you had a boss who seemed like a nice person, and then he apparently started in on the stuff, and I was scared for you.
Yes, as we affectionately refer to that in the South, the booger sugar. So, yeah. Because Adderall, when crushed and snorted, like I said, it goes straight to your bloodstream, and so it's a quicker, yeah.
For the reading, I've got a hangman, which means they should be. They are lucky no one was unalived. People should, if nothing else, very much lose their jobs. Here's being hemmed in and or legally hemmed in. The Page of Wands. I don't know. This doesn't feel like as much as it should be. Let me see if there's any clarification on that Page of Wands. David Miner, the quicker picker-upper.
Yes, their own bounty. Yes.
It's funny, as we're talking, I just saw a squirrel rush through, and it was like, yep. Squirrel. All right, Nine of Wands. On the defensive, Ace of Wands, Moon, and Three of Cups. Whoo, party time. I don't know. Maybe. But you know who I should specifically ask about? Someone who's currently, isn't he a senator? Is he a representative or a senator?
You know Jackson? He is a representative.
Amy Jones says, was that Over the Hedge movie with the squirrel? I loved that.
Yes.
Hamilton.
Oh my God.
Hammy.
Yes.
I had to stop at the climax of that movie. I had to stop the movie. I was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe. Oh, he was a very happy squirrel. Ronny Jackson, come on down. How did you get away with doing what you did for so long? The main thing I got was he's been Ronny Jackson, entertainment only, but from what we've heard from the news and what have you, and now I'm seeing if collective energy can fill in any blanks, just as a thought. He's juggling a lot, been juggling a lot for years. Let's just say he definitely took some actions and made lots of people very happy.
I'm sure he did.
Like the cups here in the original deck, it's the family sitting there, and they're just like, oh, and there's a big rainbow with all the cups,
right?
Doling things out.
Mm-hmm.
Judgment and Six of Wands. So there is some major arcana judgment there. So I was wondering if there's anything more. We just haven't heard anything about him. And so I was trying to find if there was more. But I do have a Justice card in the middle here, but it doesn't end with the Justice card.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. There's always a possibility, but I wish I was getting some more people being held accountable for what they've done. But all right. So the one thing I don't think I've really read on is something specifically about. I read on, is this going to become a bigger story, a bigger deal?
Mm-hmm.
But I think ultimately we need to ask is, people are so focused right now on Trump's misspeaking and forgetting things and
that's
all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I always am concerned about people not. It's almost like saying he has dementia, which gives him an out.
Right.
And that's what bothers me, because it's like, look, I know he has his problems, but he needs to go to court and be held accountable in a court of law.
Mm-hmm.
And just pointing out that he's misspeaking or what have you, I don't think that's going to do anything to move MAGA off of voting for him.
No.
But will this and well, not just this, but this in the future, be affected by this? Hilda Flores, justice. Yes. David's asking, drug-induced psychosis. Okay. Kelly's saying brain fritters.
I love that. I've
never heard of brain fritters before. That's funny. So, is this, if you're not you have to look at the screen for those who are just listening in, but the stuff along the bottom of the screen, is this going to affect Trump's ability to this?
Yeah.
Lois McDonald points out Michael Jackson's doctor was liable. Yeah, that was, holy buckets, that was.
Yeah. And then if we have time after this, I have a question that tags onto this. I know it's Wednesday, so.
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
I've got the cover already.
Yeah, there you go.
So, there's a thief card. Sneaky. This is voting. I mean, it's not exactly a big stretch that this is the center card. So I've got the Eight of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles here. This is the dynasty, and this is work. But this is work in this deck under false pretenses. So I've got a Temperance here with the Four of Cups, which is, people are tired of this. So unless he can, and this is what it feels like, unless he can temper himself, unless he can give it up.
Yeah.
Which doesn't feel like it here. Remember the three cups? He's being offered another. And so the card for the day is Temperance. Don't do it. Just don't. It's don't start. If wean yourself off, whatever. It's I realize there's some medications, if you're getting it from, through a doctor or what, they're necessary, but there's talk that, I saw it the other day about Noel Castler
Mm-hmm.
and how the stories he tells about Trump back in the day,
Yeah.
The Apprentice and what have you. Well, that was back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And what he's saying is this talk that, I don't have any issue with somebody who's wearing like a depends or type thing. That's there, but for the grace of God, go any of us.
Mm-hmm.
But what Noel Castler was saying is Trump has been entertainment only using stuff like that since back then or before.
Mm-hmm.
And it isn't you the reason you might need that kind of stuff is because apparently, from what he was saying, stimulants are a laxative. Make of that what you will.
Yes.
So you had a question.
Well, also to tag along with what you just said, it just, again, general knowledge, not applying this to any one person.
Mm-hmm.
There's been much debate and talk about smells.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying, I understand that he would probably view meth itself as low rent. It would be beneath him. It would be tacky for him.
Yeah.
But when someone uses that in a way that's not snorted or whatnot, it smells like a litter box. It smells like straight ammonia.
Really?
It smells like a diaper. Like a very strong, somebody's dehydrated, concentrated.
Or a cat.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that's what meth smells like.
I do know when I lived in Phoenix, I befriended one of the maintenance guys, the main maintenance guy. And it was a huge complex up on Bell Road in Phoenix. And people would move out, sometimes very suddenly, and they'd leave stuff behind. And it was up to this guy to do something with it. And one time he was like, "Hey, do you need any ball gowns?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I've got 3 ball gowns. They were just left. I can give them to Goodwill, but you need a gown? It saved me a trip." And then again, he said, "Oh, hang on a second. No, I can't give you those." And I was like, "Well, I didn't have any use for them anyway." But and he's like, the person who left them was a tweaker.
They smelled like cat pee.
They smelled. And yeah. And he's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I've got to throw those away." Okay. Yeah. Forget that.
Yeah. But the question that I had, and I know I'm not trying to.
No, we're good. We're good. We're good.
Okay. And this sort of ties along with your last question. We know because of Fred that genetically things run in the family.
Mm-hmm.
It's also well known that if you are genetically predispositioned to something and you live certain lifestyles a certain way, you can either, through your lifestyle, prevent that as long as possible, or you could put on a vacancy welcome light to say, "Come on down," depending on how you're living and that genetic predisposition. So I know that it's been said by the person that you were just talking about, the journalist, that he's dyslexic, and that has a lot of the issues with the teleprompters and whatnot.
Trump is dyslexic. Yeah, Noel Castler has said that Trump is dyslexic.
That Trump is dyslexic. But could part of his apparent mental decline, all of this stuff will change the brain chemistry, or change the chemistry of your brain. So the mixing of the drugs, the I need this to wake up, I need this to go to sleep, I need this and this and this and this. Your brain is altered. Could all of this from have accelerated his apparent mental decline.
All right. Did the White House candy jar accelerate the mental downward spiral he's on? Trump would get really, really angry. Apparently, there was a Noel Castro was saying that there was one particular time where they had the cue cards for Trump to read on The Apprentice, and one of them, it had the word arbitrage. And he didn't know that. He went, boom. You're trying to set me up.
No.
All right. King of Pentacles. He does what he wants. Four of Swords, Judgment, Knight of Wands, Magician, Chariot. That's he does a lot of, the tweeting at night and the, what was it the other night? He I'm just gonna say tweeted. He tweeted how much about E. Jean Carroll? It was like 41 times or something.
Like 20 something minutes. Yeah. That's some tweaker mess right there.
Dude.
That is that's yeah.
That's a lot of judgment from and aggression. And this guy had the nuclear codes.
Yeah.
Juggling. Chariot off the rails. Yeah, it's contributing. Heck yeah. Yeah. So as much as and I'll just say, as much as I'm not exactly a fan of Trump. If you've watched the channel for 3.2 seconds, you'll know that. I do not want him physically harmed in any way, shape, or form. I just want him in court in a fair trial with real evidence, and for him to be held accountable based on a real court with real evidence. That is absolutely what I want. So I just want to make that absolutely clear. But I do get frustrated sometimes when people start talking about dementia with him, because I don't think it's as simple. And I think that it gives him an excuse. We should feel sorry for him. When in reality, if maybe it is, or maybe it's this much, it's this much dementia. It's this much narcissism and sociopathy. And it's this much
self-medicating.
This stuff.
Yeah.
Self-medicating. And you put those that talk about a toxic combination. So yeah. So anyway, if anybody, Cindy says now he's claiming it's sarcasm. Well, after the idiot went on about shining a light up your nether regions to fight COVID, he said he was joking. Yeah, we have eyes, we have ears. You weren't joking. You thought you would just solve the problem. You moron. So, all right. Well, that is going to do it for us for today. But thank you, Miss Sarah. Above and beyond.
You're welcome. And thank you again to Kristen for dropping this little random nugget this morning. So, yes.
All right. Well, in that case, that'll do it for us for today. It's 1:28 p.m. 1:28 p.m. here in Chicago. At 3 o'clock, we have the Creative Sprints. Miss Sarah, we'll be starting at 3.
Yes, I'll be starting at 3, but I'll have to step away about midway.
Okay, and then I will be there before Miss Sarah steps away. So we're still doing Creative Sprints this afternoon. I might be on right away. I might be on later. I might have to sneeze. Oh, anyway, thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. So please remember, you are not alone. We are in this together, and there are good days ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And please remember that okay, look, I realize these are just my spiritual beliefs, but my beliefs are that our souls are little tiny pieces of the divine, that we are all worthy, and that we are all precious. And anybody who would say, well, that person isn't precious or that person isn't precious, their souls are. It's like a tray of Fabergé eggs. They're all special.
Mm-hmm.
You may like some more than others. Some may have been damaged. Some, there may have been a flaw, in production. Who knows? But you have inherent worth that no one and nothing can ever take away from you.
That's right.
And I believe every one of us eventually goes back to the divine. That is my firm belief. So please just try to, even if you don't entirely agree with me, just please understand that you have worth. Just as you are, just your existence. All right. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will be back tomorrow. I'm here every single day, and we'll see you then. All right. Take care. Bye.